afternoon. My name is Archana Arvind. Here I am going to take a class on Ignou BCA syllabus 3rd semester C++ Objects and Classes Unit 3. Introduction. Objects and classes are key to understand the object-oriented programming language OOPL, object-oriented technique. Object-oriented programming languages are based on the concept of abstraction model by classes and objects. OOPL is based on the concept of object-oriented technique. Object-oriented technique approach for software development has become de facto standard for software development in software industry. Object-oriented technique is in a natural way of thinking or visualizing the real-world problem in terms of the objects involved in the system. In Unit 1 of Block 1, we have learned the basic concepts and the characteristics of object-oriented technique. In this unit, we can begin with the concept of classification, which is foundation in the object-oriented programming. This is followed by what and how C++ supports classes, objects, and how objects are used in problem solving. The classes are the crucial components for developing applications in C++. The accessibility rule that controls the visibility of class members and data and methods is discussed. Moreover, member functions and friend functions are also discussed. This unit also covers a special kind of member function known as static function. Illustrative examples that facilitate you in understanding of the concept are presented with adequate emphasis. Objectives. What are the objectives of this lesson? This topic. After going through this unit, you will be able to understand and define own classes, understand objects and use classes to create objects. Use created objects, access members of a class, explain the need of friend function, describe the need. Describe the need of use static member and write simple C++ program. Classification. First one. Classification is one of the important concepts of object-oriented philosophy, including identity, abstraction, encapsulation, inheritance, polymorphism, and persistence. Let us take an example to understand the concept of classification. In the real-world environment in which we operate, we need to identify hundreds or thousands of objects to solve the problem. It is very difficult to manage this large number of objects. Could you tell how to handle them easily? That too is such large numbers. Well, object-oriented classes classification to group objects that have attributes and behaviors in common class and classify them into bigger entities. The bigger entity is called a class. Thus, a class defines a group of objects with similar attributes, common operation, common relationship to other objects in the class, and common semantics. Thus, a class means or a class defines a group of objects with similar attributes, common operations, a common relationship to other objects in the class, and common semantics. Suppose you have several objects like dog, cat, cow, elephant, car, airplane, fighter plane, rocket, cup, mountain, bike, racing bike, tandem bike. There are 4 animal objects grouped in the animal class. 3 plane objects are grouped together into a plane class, and 3 bike objects grouped in bike class. The single car is in separate class as this cup. Can you tell how did we classify the objects? Yes, of course we can classify based on the similar properties, common operations, and common relationship to other objects in the class, and common semantics. But how will we classify the objects? Based on the concept of common semantics. The term common semantics in classifying objects is best described by an example. Consider 2 classes, bus and house, given as follows. Name of the class, bus. Attributes, cost, color, model. Services, maintenance. Name of the class, house. Attributes, cost, color, model. Services, maintenance. If you look at the above classes, you can observe that both have same set of attributes and service functions. Naturally, one can raise the questions whether both of these objects are considered of the same class or should they belong to different class. These questions can be answered by looking at the semantics of two classes. If the underlying semantics is based on object usage, then two classes should not be combined even if their attributes and services are same. But if the underlying semantics is based on the object's asset, then both bus and house belong to a common class asset. From the above discussion, we have understood the concept of classification and how it is used to reduce hundreds or thousands of objects into smaller groups class based on their characteristics. Class. In this section, we will discuss what is a class. What is the importance of class in C++? We will define a class and also discuss encapsulation, which is one of the striking features of a class. It can be easily seen that a class is defined by the keyword class. The class specifies the type and scope of variables and functions declared inside the class. The variables data declared inside the class are known as data members and the function methods are known as member function. Being the part of the class, data and function are called members of the class. The body of the class is enclosed within the braces and terminated by the colon. The keywords private, public and protected are known as visibility labels, which defines the visibility of the members. We will discuss the visibility of the members in the next section. It is common practice to declare data members as private as member, functions as public. Defining a class. A class has a name, set of attributes, data members, characteristics, and a set of actions or services, functions, members, and methods. Now let us see how a class is defined in C++. The common syntax. Syntax means the grammar of the programming language. Grammar of the programming C++ language. Syntax. The common syntax of a common class declaration. Specification. Definition is given as following. Public class, class name, common, curly bracket open, private, variable declaration, function declaration, public, variable declaration, function declaration, protected, variable declaration, function declaration, closing bracket, and semicolon follows. Example to understand how the class is defined. Before defining a class, you should decide about the members of class. Who will be the members of a class? Actually, it depends on the problem domain, which type of data problems needs to keep in the class, and also which type of operations will be needed to manipulate the data. A class is a set of objects that shares a common definition described by data and methods. A class എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ എന്താ ഒരു സെയിം അതായത് ഡിസ്ക്രൈബ് ബൈ ഡാറ്റ ആൻഡ് മെത്തേഡ്സ് ഷെയർസ് എ കോമൺ ഒരേ പൊതുവായിട്ടുള്ള ഡെഫിനിഷൻ ഡിസ്ക്രൈബ് ബൈ ഡാറ്റ ആൻഡ് മെത്തേഡ്സ് അതിനെയാണ് എന്ത് പറയുന്നത് ക്ലാസ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. ക്ലാസ് സെറ്റ് ഓഫ് ഒബ്ജക്ട് that shares a common definition described by data and methods. Based about discussion, suppose we want to define an employee class. We are interested to display the basic information like ID, name, department, etc. For this, first we have to decide the data members and the types required to represent the basic information. Then we need to in member functions to display basic information. We also need the member function to take information from the real world. Let us see an data and functions into a single unit is called encapsulation. Data encapsulation is most striking feature of a class. Could you tell what are the advantages of encapsulation? Well, the advantages of encapsulation are data hiding, information hiding, and implementation independence. Let us see how employee class is defined. Public class employee, curly brackets open, int ID, character name 25, car department 25, public, void getter underscore data void, braces open, C out, insertion operator employee ID, end line, C in, extraction operator ID, C out, insertion operator enter name, end line, C in, extraction operator name, C out, insertion operator enter department, end line, C in, extraction operator department, void display, underscore information void, C out, insertion employee ID, equal to ID end line C out employee name end line C out employee department end line closing the column. We generally give a class some meaningful name by reflecting information to all. In the above declaration of the class, the name of the class employee. The employee becomes a new data type. It is used to define instances of a class data type. Encapsulation. In this section, we'll discuss about encapsulation. Encapsulation is one of the important characteristics of object-oriented programming language. As we have discussed, a class can be described as a collection of data members and a member function. This property of C++, which allow wrap, wrapping up of data and functions into a single unit, is called encapsulation. Data encapsulation is most striking feature of a class. Could you tell what are the advantages of encapsulation? Well, the advantages of encapsulation are data hiding, information hiding, and implementation independence. Thank you. That's all for today's session.